Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Sunita Reddy, working in Center for Pharmaceutical Sciences, JNU Head. I'm going to talk about biomimicry, nature to lab. What is biomimicry? Biomimicry is nothing but the nature has given so many ideas to us, and where we can take the ideas from the nature and that can be implemented into our lab. So, what is my contents today? That is, what is biomimicry mean, and how nanosciences uses the biomimicry. And I'm going to take the nature like gecko, moths, butterflies, peacocks, lotus, trees, Mozambique, the birds and reptiles, how they are mimicking us to make some dosage forms, or how they're mimicking us to make some kind of products to the market. So most of you have experienced the pandemic last 2 years, and we have locked up with the mask, and also we stayed away from the environment, and we did not go able to go to the social meetings or anything, and we have been wearing the mask, and many people, many humans are affected with the pandemic, and many of them are died also. But when you observe these 2 years, you can see so many animals survived the same pandemic, and they did not have any corona, they did not have any vaccination, but we are the people, we needed a vaccination to survive the pandemic. Why this is happening? Okay, most of the problems human face today are also faced by the other organisms. Over the course of evolution, many organisms gain more efficient way to use their environment. The organisms that are alive today are successful models or products of evolution. We could learn a lot from the nature when it comes to solving our challenges in a sustainable way. So when you see this, the eagle has been flying very freely without any difficulty in flying in the air for several hours. The Wright brothers have seen that this eagle and observed why it has been flying for so many hours without falling, and they developed the aeroplane. The aeroplane is now mode of transport for us to visit different countries and work in different countries. So what they observed, the wings are like a lightweight, and they are arranged in a such a way they can be passed through the clouds and pass through the air that they are facing and able to reach the destination. Same way the aeroplanes are designed. This is one of the biomimicry that able to make an aeroplane by seeing the eagle. Next one is nanostructures in geckofeet. You might have seen all these lizards and geckos. So, but when you observe these geckos, then gecko feet are covered with a nano-sized hairs that use intramolecular forces, van der Waals forces, allowing the lizard to stick firmly to surfaces. But when you observe through the microscope, this is the when you observe the feet, this is the macro size, and when you go into one finger of this gecko, this is the meso size. In within the finger, this is the micro size, and in the same spot, when you observe in a high illuminated microscope, this is a nanostructure. There are thousand spatula tips are there, and these spatula tips are made up of nanomaterial. You know that nanomaterial, when you are there, there is surface area is very high, and these are able to stick to the area firmly to wherever the lizards are moving, and they are able to crawl, or they are able to move onto the surfaces, ceilings, and all those can happen with the peacock. And you hardly observe that they are falling from the ceilings. Okay, and by observing that, the scientists are made biocompatible fractures. Biocompatible fractures. These are replicating. The scientists have developed adhesive that can seal wounds or patch hole caused by stomach ulcers. Okay, and the adhesive is elastic and also waterproof and made up of material that breaks down an injury heals. And you can see that many people in the worldwide, they will be having the problem of ulcers, stomach ulcers, and the scientists are able to make adhesive patches uh, that can be inserted and also can keep into the ulcer area or the wounds area, and they are self-absorbable and self-sealing. Okay, so So that is the science we are using, the translation medicine, the one which we are able to make these biocompatible patches and stick to that area and able to make a patches with the medicated for the healing of the certain wounds or the ulcers. Okay. And when we are making the patches or these biocompatible patches or the film which can heal, there are three different ways. They are light activated, they are wet adhesive, and they are biocompatible patch. The light activated patches here, you can see them here, light activated patches. They are adhesive, which is based on the two biomolecules, glycerin and acid, and activated by the alcohol. And other one is a wet adhesive. Many adhesives lose their potency in a wet environment. These are a wet adhesive. And this one does not. This tissue surface need not to be dry. The adhesive works in the presence of blood without reacting chemicals. This is the wet adhesive that they can be applied to the ulcers or wounds. The third one is biocompatible patches. Biocompatible patches, they will be compatible to the area where you are applying. So there will be no rejection or no allergic reaction. They are like tissue velcro, growing into the tissue and holding it together. The idea is that the patch is filled with a wound and then they are biocompatible, so don't need to be taken off. Okay. And observing the gecko feet, they are made a gecko tape also. The gecko tape made up of all nanostructures and with the same kind of material, and they developed a nanotape. This tape is able to hold about 1 kg of the weight, and the when we observe the gecko feet, the number of spatulas in the feet are more than 1 billion. But when you do exactly the same kind of spatula in a foot, that spatula can lift about 130 kgs of weight. Okay. And also observing the gecko shoes, they are also making the nanostructures found in the same gecko feet, and they are making a shoes, the bottom of the shoe, in such a way, with a very tight nano material, and these are used for the trekking to the many mountain areas. Okay, and many mountains, because there is a possibility of falling from the mountains, and there is a possibility of not able to go on the hiking or trekking. So these shoes are, the bottom is made up of like a velcro structure with the most of the nano material, and they are able to walk free. Okay, and you can see here the person who is made up of the gecko shoes, they are able to better stability and able to go onto the mountain. Okay, and prevent slipping while you are climbing or descending. The scaling new heights can be possible by mimicking the gecko feet structure to the shoes and other materials. When you observe the spider foot is also the strength of the suction in a spider foot is due to all of the small van der Waals forces at a nanoscale pulling at the same time. So why isn't stuck in one place? You can observe that whenever you observe these spiders, they move in a such a way. The front legs will be moved in a same time and followed by the back foot. And like that, they will be lifting the front foot at once and the back foot at once. So this is what happening to prevent any fall or prevent any miscalculation to the spider to move forward. Okay, it lifts its legs so that the setulets lift successively, not at all of them at once. Okay, and imagine astronauts using the same idea for space suits that help them to stick to the walls of the spacecraft, just like a spider onto the steel. So that will be helpful by observing the spider foot, how they are moving. And self-cleaning windows from the moth eye. The moth is one of the small animals, small insects, and you can see that when you observe, the University College of London researchers have developed a revolutionary new type of smart windows. You know that when we have a windows, the windows, glass windows, somebody has to clean the glass windows regularly to take out the dirt. But when you observe the moth eye, when you observe the moth eye, the moth eye is made up of so many nano small structures, and these nano structures will not keep any kind of dirt or any kind of material. So when you implement the same kind of nanostructures to the glass, we can have a self-cleaning or energy saving or anti-glare effect to our glass. How self-cleaning is done? The windows is ultra sensitive to water. So rain hitting the outside forms a spherical droplet and that roll easily over the surface, picking up dirt, dust and other contaminants and carrying them away. Energy saving, the glass is coated with very thin 5 to 10 nanometer films of the vanadium dioxide, which during cold periods stop thermal radiation escaping and prevent the heat loss during the hot periods. It prevents infrared radiation from the sun entering the film. Same thing, anti-glare effect. Whenever you drive on the road, you want an anti-glare effect to your eyeglasses. Same kind of nanostructure material you can coat onto the glasses and we can get the anti-glare effect. Okay. And another animal, when you observe the chameleon changes the color when it is one color on the tree, one color on the mud, one color on the trunk, and it changes so many different colors. Why this is happening? The researchers have been observed, and research at the University of California, Berkeley, developed an ultra thin material that can change the color and demand by bouncing back light onto the nanoscale level. Okay, and the chameleon skin material actually changes the color when flexed or when a small amount of force is applied to the surface. Tiny ridges smaller than a wavelength of light are etched into the layer of silicon film 1000 times thinner than a human hair. The silicon layer, approximately 120 nanometers thick, is flexible and functions as a skin that can be adhered to the other surfaces. Spacing of the ridges produces a different color. And on top of that, the material is highly reflective, bouncing back up to 83% of incoming light, which makes it quite efficient to producing those colors. Okay, and LED TVs and all. Another one is antimicrobial physics from the cicadia fly. Okay, this is the cicadia fly. This cicadia fly, when you observe, it looks very transparent and it is moving in the air for several hours. But when you observe their wings, they are bactericidal nanoscale pillar structures on the surface of the fly, on the surface of the wings of the fly. Okay, and each pillar is a spike of several tens of nanometers in diameter and is separated from other spikes at a regular nanometer interval. They are very regularly done, and each one has a one spike, and it is of a nanometer size. When densely packed on the wing surface, this is all densely packed on the wing surfaces, these pillars arrange into the nano pattern which pierce the membranes of bacterial cells which falls onto the wings of the cardia. Okay, so immediately they pierce the bacteria or any other material which falls on the wing, and immediately the bacteria will die. Okay, so that is the nanostructure which is arranged on the cicadia wings of the fly. Okay, and from the other biomimicry is inspiration from the fish scale. Okay, transparent surfaces from the repelling oil underwater made from silica, and these transparent surfaces you can see them, and they are very clean, and no water is absorbed at all onto the fish scale. Why this is happening? Fish repels oil by trapping the water within their scales to create a self-clean oil repellent force and prompted part of the idea behind the work. Researchers in China have taken inspiration from fish scale and skeletal flowers to make a transparent underwater surface that stays clean by repelling oil. So this is another fish scale which is mimicking us to make some transparent film and hydrophobic film that will be having the self cleaning and also can be wear by different athletes. Another is the flower, the skeletal flower. The skeletal flower petal appears white, but on a contact with water, they become a transparent. That does not mean they lose the pigment. Okay, that does not mean they lose the pigment. But on sunny days, the air liquid interface of the petal causes diffuse reflectance, endowing the petals with a white color. Visible on the rainy days, water enters the petal, yielding a water-water interface, increase the light transmission so they can turn transparent. Okay. So another one, transparent surfaces are rippling. This light scattering means that mainly synthetic oil repellent surfaces are opaque, limiting their use. A transparent oil repellent surface would have application in biology, underwater optics, including diving goggles and cameras. The people who are using the diving into the seas or the large water bodies, this is the repelling oil or oil repelling idea from the plant and also from the scale has been implemented, and we are able to study the underwater study. Okay, so why this is happening? By using the femtosecond laser ablation to create a rough nanostructures on silica glass surface, and researchers have made the surface that combines both of these systems and which will become a transparent and also repel the oil in water. So we are able to study the underwater study of the reptiles, fishes, or other bodies which are present in the underground of the sea. Okay, and this is very beautiful peacock, and we always admire the peacock having a very beautiful feathers. But they are nano. They are arranged in a nano material. Their structures are arranged in a nano scale. That's why we are able to see them very bright and very attractive peacock. The iridescence of the peacock feathers is fascinating because of their range of color and their brightness is still available. Color can arise from wavelength selective absorption and wavelength selective reflection. Both things are happening. One is absorption, selective absorption. Second one is selective reflection. And these two scientists, Yoshikawa and Kinoshita, found that the pigmentation in peacock feathers, instead of reflecting light, serves to absorb the randomly scattered light and those make vivid interference color. Okay, they made in vivid interference color. But when you observe with a microscope, this is the one eye of the peacock feather, and when you see that this is a macrocyte. But when we go inside one part, this has become a mesocyte. And when you go to the microcyte, and still it is a small. When you go to the nanocytes, there are nanophotonic crystals are arranged in a systematic manner, and they are arranged in a such a way the light can be absorbed or reflected. That end up in looking a very bright color in the peacock feathers. Okay, and same thing color in butterfly wings. When you observe the butterfly wings, they are also very beautiful and very nice. By why this is happening? Butterfly wings are layers of nanoparticles separated by layers of the air. The thickness of the layer changes the color that we can see. Okay, so when you observe the scale observed in the butterfly, they become micro size, nano size, and become a smaller nano size. So the arrangements, the layers of the arrangements made them to be very beautiful. Okay, so this is the structures when you observed in a butterfly, like this is a butterfly wing, and when you go to the 100 micrometers, looks like this, and when you go to 2 micrometers, looks like this, and when you go to the 10 micrometers, looks like this. When you go to the 100 micrometers, this looks like this, smaller, and become a nano material. So this nano material is arranged in such a way that they will can look beautiful, and the layers of arrangement make them so beautiful. That technology we can use into the clothing. Okay, and we can use that biomimicry, the mimicking of the butterflies or peacocks in our textile industry. Okay, and that way we can arrange layers of nanostructures of butterfly wing, inspire the scientists to develop textiles by assembling nanoparticles into layers from the bottom up. So like one type of color can be arranged the nanomaterial, then second nanomaterial, third nanomaterial, layers of that can be arranged and self-assembly can be possible with the different layers, end up in a beautiful textile. And same butterfly wings also mimic the preparation of solar panels. And these solar panels are used now to collect the energy from the sunlight, and that can be stored and that can be used for the buildings, electricity, and power backups. All this can be done by arrangement of small solar cells, and that is mimicking from the butterfly wings, the layers how they are arranged. Okay, and you know that butterflies figured out how to emit the light 30 million years ago. This is the oldest butterfly which is emitting the light. And same technology has been developed that the fluorescent patches on the wings of these African swallowtail butterflies work in a very similar way to high emission light emitting the diode. Okay, so this is what LED also has mimicked from the butterflies, which was emitting the light 30 million years ago. And not only butterflies are able to make textiles and LEDs, but they also mimic the sensors. They also mimic the inspire the better sensor. Nowadays, everything is required a sensor to operate the electricity or operate the machines or dispense the medication or dispense the drug delivery systems or, and opening the doors. So these are all sensors required. So that is also mimicked from the butterfly wings of the layers of arrangement. And same time, when you observe the butterfly never gets wet. Not only the layers of nanomaterial arranged, they have a hydrophobic material arranged at the top of the butterfly wings. That way, they will never get it. And that technology we can implement for several other things. So that what is happening whenever the water falls in the butterfly, whenever water falls in the butterfly, because of the hydrophobic surface, water the droplets fall, they will be rolling onto the surface. And if any dirt or dust is present, they will be picked up by the droplets and pulled out. So this kind of technology we can even applicable to the our glasses or our materials where the absorption of a material is happening with the drug delivery system, that we can implement this kind of technology. And when you observe the lotus leaf, and it is a very beautiful leaf, but whenever a droplet falls onto the lotus leaf, it never gets absorbed. It forms rolls on and form a droplet. Why this is happening? A thin layer of nanomaterial is a hydrophobic material is a coating onto the lotus leaf. Okay, because of this hydrophobic small layer which is present, and that will prevent the absorption of water molecules to the leaves, and that can stay beautiful forever. So that kind of nanomaterial hydrophobic material coating can mimic the preparation of the clothing or nano coating to protect the stain, or can be used in the hospitals, or can be used for the mountaineers. So that kind of phenomena can be uh, that phenomena can be useful for the preparation of nano coating to protect on the clothes and bed sheets, hospital equipment. All this will prevent any microbial catastrophe. So that the lotus plant leaf uh, mimicking us to prepare the dirt repelling clothes using the nano super hydrophobic clothing. You can see here the water is falling on him, but it is not absorbing anything. Same thing with the t-shirt, they can make it. Okay, and same thing that is also can be used for the nanotech non-stick bottle, and also non-stick glassware can also be prepared by using that technology. And when we think about it, can't we very happy to make like a self-cleaning horse, and happy to make self-cleaning basketball or water repellent clothing, and all this can be able to make by studying the the water repellent and hydrophobic nature of the plant and birds and butterflies and peacocks. The another small bird, the Namimic beetle, the bird, beetle, it's not a bird. The Namimic beetle is a nanotube forest. When you observe this Namimic beetle, it has a small ridges on the back of the Namimic beetle. Whenever it rains, whatever the water droplet falls on it, and it will roll on to the bottom of this ridges, and it will store that water as a nano dot in the bottom of this Namimic beetle. Okay, same kind of technology was implemented making a carbon nanotube forest. They made a sponge-like structure and it is very hydrophobic on the top and hydrophobic in the bottom, and whatever the water droplet falls on it, and it will enter into this sponge type and will be stored in the bottom of this nanocarbon tube in the forest, and that water can be used in the later in the life or later in the stages where minimum water is available. So this Namibic beetle has mimicked us to make the carbon nanotube forest. And same thing, Namibic beetle also able to make the dew bank water. These dew bank bottles also made the same as by observing the Namibic beetle backside, and they made it ridges like this. And whenever water falls, those ridges will collect the water and store into the bottom tank, small tank. And these tanks will be stored and very cleaned. Water is stored into this dew bank, and this water can be collected by the pump or a small opening whenever it is required. Okay, that is the idea has mimicked to make the Nimibic beetle has mimicked us to take the dew bank water. And toucan beaks, you might have seen these toucan beaks, very big. These are very big when you compare with the actual body of toucan bird. Why this is able to hold this toucan beak? Because it is a very, very light and it is a very light material. So if you observe this light material and we are able to make this light material automobiles, or we are able to make the certain bumper, preventing the the car bumpers, then we are able to survive with the crashes or survive with the accidents. So the nanostructures of toucan beaks inspires the automotive panels that could protect the passengers in crashes and inspires the construction of ultraviolet aircraft components. Okay, and another one is a woodpecker. You know that this woodpecker will be hitting the wood like 6 to 7 times in a millisecond, and it will do the impact about 1,000 grams of impact it will see at once. But why, when we are unable to do this kind of activity, why this woodpecker can able to do that? Because it has a spongy bones on the upper beak and extended hyoid bone and a tightly enclosed small brain within the skull and a plate-like high strength cranial bone. And these are all are made up of, when you observe that, a nanomaterial structure. So that way, that woodpecker able to hit the bark or blow the bark so many times, blow the trunk so many times, and make a hole to that. And that woodpecker and also toucan beak, by observing that, we can able to make several materials, like we can make the car bumpers, we can make the athletic helmets, and we can make the collars, the collars, medicated collars. So they all can be used, or we can able to make the light weight of the material, and that medication also possible to insert them and use for the human use. Another one is a shark skin. When you observe this shark skin, ever wonder how sharks swim so fast? The various size, shapes of the texture of shark skin at the micro and nano levels reduce the drag and make sharks very fast in the water. Same idea used to create the reduced drag suits for the athletes. This is a drag suit that can be used for the athletes and the swimmers. Another one is nano machine from flagella. When you observe the flagella, it is moving very, very fast and it can able to move 20,000 RPM within a millisecond. And same kind of technology we can put it in a machine, motor pump that can lift the water or lift any material. So far what I discussed is biomimicry, pico, moths, butterflies, lotus leaf, toucan beak, all these, how they are working and what are the structures they made up of and how they can mimic us to make the different equipment or different automobiles or different medication, different patches or where they can be useful. These are all I discussed. And this is whatever we discussed is what are the material here is nanomaterial or nanostructures which are making it to the biomimicry. And thank you everyone.